Floyd Patterson was an American professional boxer and former undisputed heavyweight champion. At the age of 21, he became the youngest boxer to win the world heavyweight title, and was also the first heavyweight to regain the title after losing it. As an amateur, he won a gold medal at the 1952 Olympics in the middleweight division. Although Mike Tyson later became the youngest boxer to win a world heavyweight title at the age of 20, Patterson remains the youngest undisputed heavyweight champion. He was trained by the legendary Cus D'Amato. Early life: born into a poor family in Waco, North Carolina, Patterson was the youngest of 11 children and experienced an insular and troubled childhood. His family moved to Brooklyn, New York, where Floyd was a truant and petty thief. At age 10, he was sent to the Wiltwick School for Boys, a reform school in upstate New York, which he credited with turning his life around. He stayed there for almost 2 years. He attended high school in Newport, New York, where he succeeded in all sports. At age 14, he started to box, trained by Cus D'Amato at his Gramercy gym. Aged just 17, Patterson won the gold medal in the 1952 Helsinki Olympics as a middleweight. 1952 turned out to be a good year for the young Patterson. In addition to Olympic gold, Patterson won the National Amateur Middleweight Championship and New York Golden Gloves Middleweight Championship. Olympic results: defeated Omar Tabaka 3-0, defeated Leonard Oos Jansen TKO 1, defeated Stig's Jar Paragraph Lin DQ 3, defeated Vaisal Tia D Florin KO 1. Patterson's amateur record over 44 fights was 40-4, with 37 knockouts. Patterson carried his hands higher than most boxers, in front of his face. Sports writers called Patterson's style a peekaboo stance. Early pro career: Patterson turned pro and steadily rose through the ranks, his only early defeat being an 8-round decision to former light heavyweight champion Joey Maxim on June 7, 1954, at the Eastern Parkway Arena in Brooklyn, New York. Most people think Patterson did enough to win, and Maxim's greater fame at the time helped to sway the judges. Championship: although Patterson fought around the light heavyweight limit for much of his early career, he and manager Cus D'Amato always had plans to fight for the heavyweight championship. In fact, D'Amato made these plans clear as early as 1954, when he told the press that Patterson was aiming for the heavyweight title. However, after Rocky Marciano announced his retirement as world heavyweight champion on April 27, 1956, Patterson was ranked by the Ring magazine as the top light heavyweight contender. After Marciano's announcement, Jim Norris of the International Boxing Club stated that Patterson was one of the 6 fighters who would take part in an elimination tournament to crown Marciano's successor. The Ring then moved Patterson into the heavyweight rankings, at number 5. Patterson vs. Moore. After beating Tommy Hurricane Jackson in an elimination fight, Patterson faced former light heavyweight champion Archie Moore on November 30, 1956, for the World Heavyweight Championship. He beat Moore by a knockout in 5 rounds and became the youngest world heavyweight champion in history, at the age of 21 years, 10 months, 3 weeks and 5 days. He was the first Olympic gold medalist to win a professional heavyweight title. Patterson vs. Johansson I, 2 and 3 . After a series of defenses against fringe contenders, Patterson met Ingemar Johansson of Sweden, the number 1 contender, in the first of 3 fights. Johansson triumphed over Patterson on June 26, 1959, with the referee Ruby Goldstein stopping the fight in the 3rd round after the Swede had knocked Patterson down 7 times. Johansson became Sweden's first world heavyweight champion, thus becoming a national hero as the first European to defeat an American for the title since 1933. Patterson knocked out Johansson in the 5th round of their rematch on June 20, 1960, to become the then first man in history to ever regain the undisputed World Heavyweight Championship. Johansson hit the canvas hard, seemingly out before he landed flat on his back. With glazed eyes, blood trickling from his mouth and his left foot quivering, he was counted out. Johansson lay unconscious for 5 minutes before he was helped onto a stool. A third fight between them was held on March 13, 1961, and while Johansson put Patterson on the floor, Patterson retained his title by knockout in the sixth round to win the rubber match, in which Patterson was decked twice and Johansson once in the first round. Johansson had landed both right hands over Floyd's left jab. After getting up from the second knockdown, Floyd abandoned his jab and connected with a left hook that knocked down Johansson. After that, Patterson came on with a strong body attack that wore down Johansson. In the sixth round, Johansson caught Patterson with a solid right. But the power in Injma's punches was gone. Patterson won the fight in the sixth round by knockout. Patterson vs. Liston Iron 2 =. After the third Johansson fight, Patterson defended the title on December 4, 1961 against Tom McNeely and retained the title with a fourth-round knockout. However, he did not fight number one contender Sonny Liston. This was due in part to Cus D'Amato, who did not want Patterson in the ring with a boxer with mob connections. As a result, D'Amato turned down any challenges involving the IBC. Eventually, due to a monetary dispute with Jimmy Jacobs, Patterson removed D'Amato from handling his business affairs and agreed to fight Liston. Leading up to the fight, Sonny Liston was the major betting line favorite, though Sports Illustrated predicted that Patterson would win in 15 rounds. Jim Braddock, Jersey Joe Walcott, Ezra Charles, Rocky Marciano and Injma Johansson picked Patterson to win. The fight also carried a number of social implications. Liston's connections with the mob were well known, and the NAACP was concerned about having to deal with Liston's visibility as world champion and had encouraged Patterson not to fight Liston, fearing that a Liston victory would tarnish the civil rights movement. Patterson also claimed that John F. Kennedy did not want him to fight Liston either. Patterson lost his title to Liston on September 25, 1962 in Chicago, by a first-round knockout in front of 18,894 fans. The two fighters were a marked contrast. In the ring, Liston's size and power proved too much for Patterson's guile and agility. However, Patterson did not use his speed to his benefit. According to Sports Illustrated writer Gilbert Ruggin, Patterson didn't punch enough and frequently tried to clinch with Liston. Liston battered Patterson with body shots and then shortened up and connected with two double hooks high on the head. The result at the time was the third fastest knockout in boxing history. After being knocked out, Patterson left Comiskey Park in Chicago wearing dark glasses and a fake beard for the drive back to New York. After the fight, questions were raised on whether the fight was fixed to set up a more lucrative rematch. Overnight, Patterson seemed to lose his public support as a result of his swift knockout. The rematch was set for April 1963. However, Liston injured his knee swinging a golf club and the fight was delayed to July 22, 1963. In Las Vegas that night, Patterson attempted to become the first boxer to win the heavyweight title 3 times, but Liston once again knocked him out in the first round. Patterson lasted 4 seconds longer than in the first bout. Post-title career. Following these defeats, Patterson went through a depression. However, he eventually recovered and began winning fights again, including top victories over Eddie Macken and George Chuvalo. The Chuvalo match getting Ring Magazine's Fight of the Year award. Patterson was now the number 1 challenger for the title held by Muhammad Ali. On November 22, 1965, in yet another attempt to be the first to win the world heavyweight title 3 times, Patterson lost by technical knockout at the end of the 12th round, going into the fight with an injured sacroiliac joint in a bout in which Ali was clearly dominant. Ali called Patterson an Uncle Tom for refusing to call him Muhammad Ali and for this outspokenness against black Muslims. Instead of scoring a quick knockout, Ali mocked, humiliated and punished Patterson throughout the fight before knocking him out in the 12th round. Patterson was still a legitimate contender. In 1966 he travelled to England and knocked out British boxer Henry Cooper in just 4 rounds at Wembley Stadium. In September 1969 he divorced his first wife, Sandra Hicks Patterson, who wanted him to quit boxing, while he still had hopes for another title shot. When Ali was stripped of his title for refusing induction into the military, the World Boxing Association staged an 8-man tournament to determine his successor. Patterson fought Jerry Quarry to a draw in 1967. In a rematch 4 months later, Patterson lost a controversial 12-round decision to Quarry. Subsequently, in a third and final attempt at winning the title a third time, Patterson lost a controversial 15-round referee's decision to Jimmy Ellis in Sweden, despite breaking Ellis' nose and scoring a disputed knockdown. Patterson continued on, defeating Oscar Bonavena in a close fight over 10 rounds in early 1972. At age 37, Patterson was stopped in the 7th round in a rematch with Muhammad Ali for the NABF heavyweight title on September 20, 1972. The defeat proved to be Patterson's last fight, although there was never an announcement of retirement. Retired life. In retirement, he and Johansson became good friends who flew across the Atlantic to visit each other every year, and he became chairman of the New York State Athletic Commission. He was also inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 1991. In 1982 and 1983 he ran the Stockholm Marathon together with Ingemar Johansson. Patterson lived in Newport, New York for many years and was known as a true gentleman around town. His adopted son, Tracy Harris Patterson, was a world champion boxer in the 1990s and was trained by Floyd during part of his career. Floyd also trained Canadian heavyweight Donovan Razor Ruddock in 1992 for his fights with Greg Page, Phil Jackson, and Lennox Lewis. The Newport's high school football field was named Floyd Patterson Field in 1985. Death. Floyd Patterson suffered from Alzheimer's disease and prostate cancer and had been hospitalized for a week prior to his death. He died at home in Newport in 2006 at age 71. He is buried at Newport's Rural Cemetery in Newport, Ulster County, New York. Quotes, "It's easy to do anything in victory. It's in defeat that a man reveals himself. They said I was the fighter who got knocked down the most, but I also got up the most. When you have millions of dollars, you have millions of friends. On boxing, it's like being in love with a woman. She can be unfaithful, she can be mean, she can be cruel, but it doesn't matter. If you love her, you want her, even though she can do you all kinds of harm. It's the same with me in boxing. It can do me all kinds of harm, but I love it." Professional boxing record. References. Further reading, Dahlberg, Tim. Former boxer Floyd Patterson dies at 71 inches. Washington Post. Mulvaney, Kyron, Patterson in all-time great outside the ropes. ESPN.com, May 12, 2006. Victory Over Myself by Floyd Patterson with Milton Gross. Published by Bernard Gase Associates, distributed by Random House, 1962. Library of Congress Catalog Number 62 to 15657. Further watching, Ingemar Johansson vs. Floyd Patterson. 1 WNOYCLBKRO. External links, Professional boxing record for Floyd Patterson from BoxRec, Sports Encyclopedia's Memoriam to Floyd Patterson, Daily Telegraph obituary, Floyd Patterson at Find a Grave, Sport Magazine, November 1960. Svenska LFE Arkivet, interview with Floyd Patterson and Ingemar Johansson, 1, the official site of Floyd Patterson.